Well, since I have you here, I may as well ask you a question. Has anyone, anywhere ever heard of the Nickelodeon cartoon show Cat Scratch? No? Well, have you heard of the song Cat Scratch Fever? Yeah? Well, they have nothing in common. Take that, punk. But anyway, who hasn't? I mean, I'm going to guess you do, and you just don't want to admit it. It's perfect entertainment. I can't believe I said that. Although, given the historical events of drama that have gone on in the department of Nickelodeon Animation Studios, you might have heard some things such as Squidward's suicide and Red Mist and Squidward's suicide. Also, some of the episodes actually have aired on Nick and aren't being told as urban legends are pretty messed up in and of themselves. But the list goes on and on and on and on. This right here that I got to share is a true story of how I found a lost episode. And by the way, the story does begin with I was an intern at, because yes, I was an intern. And so are you. We're all an intern in this thing called life. But with that said, yeah, I was an intern at Nickelodeon. I brought in the pizzas and ordered the pencils and did unspeakable things under the desk nor below that I don't want to talk about right now. I will also say that viewer discretion is advised, and if you choose to keep this video on, that's your prerogative. Let me tell you, I work closely with Doug Tenaple. Shit, my therapist told me it's wish fulfillment. I work closely with Doug Tenaple. I bet you've heard of him. No, well, too bad. He's the creator of Catscratch as well as Earthworm Jim. I bet you've heard of Earthworm Jim. Oh, well. Sounds like you haven't heard of much. You should become more worldly. Well, I was hired to be a dog grip for the animation department. And I've been close friends with Doug Tenaple himself. Unfortunately, all this suddenly changed for the absolute worst, and I gotta tell you about that. I was promoted by my boss at Nickelodeon to attend advanced screenings for upcoming episodes to any individual show airing at the time. Both the ones I liked and the ones I wasn't so keen on. Commander Keen, I was finally invited to a screening of the new episode of Catscratch, but the first time being in this kind of showing would end up being my last time attending one of these screenings, so it wasn't much of a perk after all. In fact, I think, as you can tell, it really sucked a lot. Surprisingly, nobody came to the screening, and that really should have been a sign that I should have gotten the bleep out. Even the creator and a staff of animators and writers of the program didn't show up. Well, I just assumed that the boss was rude, or maybe people were sick with the flu. This was before the coronavirus, mind you. Regardless, I ended up watching as I grabbed my pen and paper just to take some notes and inform the others who decided not to show up. Now, the intro did play as it normally would, so there weren't any signs of anything wrong there. The title card, though, wasn't quite as normal as you would expect, I must say. The title read, in all capital letters, Waffle warned you. The still-framed picture was a character from the program named Waffle eating an apple pie with scary spaghetti and red meat as he looked down with utter disappointment. That spaghetti did look really scary. I mean, it was really curly and tied up. I mean, red meat makes sense, spaghetti and meat sauce, and that's kind of normal. Except there was no sauce. Apple pie, okay, that's just kind of gross altogether, anyway. It was weird, but gross out humor isn't that weird for Nickelodeon, right? I mean, you've seen Ren and Stimpy before, right? Oh yeah, I forgot you don't know anything. The episode itself began with an unusual series of mutated colors. Or muted colors. I'd just like to say mutated. Waffle was in the living room sitting in the corner. Without an expression. There was nothing going on. You could tell that he was scared inside because his eyes were... Well, we'll get to that in a little bit. You could say that he was disheveled, but it was worse than that, in fact. It was much worse. Much worse. You could say that his eyes were bloodshot or hyper-realistic, but worse. Much, much worse. His afraid expression suddenly turned into a glazing madness, as if he had bipolar personality disorder. You see, I used to be a psychological doctor, and prior to that I was a sales clerk at a porno movie theater. I actually did both jobs at once, at the same time, at the same location. That's why I have a psychiatrist now. See, I could relate to expressions about life, and I could relate to Waffle, but, as for the porno thing, well, the shocking thing is Waffle aggressively inhaled Cialis and Viagra pills just to be massively horny. Okay, if you don't want to hear this, then I recommend covering your ears or something, because I got to tell you something that's kind of gross. We actually see a kitty penis on an animated television series on Nickelodeon, and I mean, it's one thing if it's DeviantArt, you kind of expect that there, but Nickelodeon, I didn't want to see this. This suddenly segued into Waffle brutally destroying his pet newts as we were given a realistic bloody gore scene with photorealistic grisly images. Is that scene? That scene suddenly sped up and the colors got more and more dark. What was this, like some sort of reverse Easter? You could hear loud noises of fainting in the background. The porno experience came in handy there. And louder sounds of gun shootings, as if a terrorist attack happened at Nick Animation. Mr. Blick comes in. The black cat voiced by Newman from some sitcom I used to remember. What was that show's name again? Something about people being lizards. He was grinning, but it looked more haunting, sinister as all holy heck. I was petrified by his smiling face, as if he was some sort of sick Medusa. He asked Waffle if he wanted to start a revolution, and no, it's not that one famous song by, it's a Rise Against. Creed. Jonas Brothers. No, this was Mr. Blick starting World War III. So he had an angry, screaming German man with a German war outfit full of swastikas and a short mustache. Waffle lectures about a terrible dystopian future. Something that will cause a deadly massacre. More victims being shot and killed. Another crash at the WTC. He whispers to Mr. Blick, I want to believe. Oh man, this was messed up. Gordon the cat, who suspiciously sounds awfully like reality TV chef Gordon Ramsay, or perhaps Gordon Freeman, walks in and just insults the characters and the writers. You listen up. You can't write. You can't write. You're fucking terrible at writing an episode. You have no fleshed out character development this time around, you fucking holes. Oh wait, I think he was trying to be Simon from American Idol, but holy shit, why was he cussing in a children's cartoon? That was incredibly inappropriate. Possibly the most inappropriate thing so far. Nickelodeon didn't need this sort of profanity. But maybe I was wrong. After all, I wasn't in charge of the Nielsen ratings. And you all did wrong. Ronaldo? Gordon said that, pointing at the camera toward me as if he was breaking the fourth wall. But no, he stared directly at me with his demonic bloodshot eyes. I guess everyone was being disheveled today. Was this some sort of yard sale on having bloodshot, disheveled eyes? Anyway, now there's this girl in the program named Kimberly. Not the Kardashian, of course. Her ass ain't nearly that big. Moving on. She was supposed to be the girlfriend of Gordon. But in a strange turn of events, she looks like a feminist lesbian SJW with ear piercings and her tank girl button ranting and raving about President Trump by jumping up and down like a spoiled child while her purple hair waves in the wind. Oh, this is out of character. As Gordon announces, Kimberly, I'm about to dump ye. I don't like ye anymore. Kimberly screamed. Are you harassing me, you pussy? I identify as a feline helicopter. Gordon felt queasy and unsure as to what she meant, so she screamed out loud, bloody murder. Maybe it was just that time of the month. I couldn't take this episode anymore. I felt like if I continued it, the world might end. This was horrifying, given that this episode felt like it was out of continuity of the show itself. That's even more horrifying than the end of the world. Well, I kept watching, and the next scene was Waffle vomiting and turning into a spiritual demon as he fucks the butler, and Mr. Blick was seen doing a CKL. And then the background mysteriously changed into a cliff as if there was an animation error. And as he was about to jump off, he grabbed a gun and shot himself. Seriously, WTF. WTF. Hey, Super Mario, why don't you fuck off? Gordon's voice yelled that in the background as loud as possible. He was referring to me. Well, what the hell? Well, I kept his voice down so that it didn't hurt your speakers. I'm not a Fresh Prince character, and if you didn't get that Ronaldo reference, that's what that's about. Look it up on, Creepypasta. Certainly as hell do not look like a famous Nintendo character. If I did, I'd probably look more like King Koopa. Now, actually, I do look like Wario, but fuck this episode. I left the screening, I took the VHS tape out, and I stormed directly to the office after stopping in the cafeteria to get some garlic. I was in agony because of this lost episode as I tried to show him and the creator some proof. But as soon as I put the tape in, guess what? Just my luck. Just my luck. Yeah, not the first time in my life this shit happened, but just my luck, nothing was playing. Though now that I think about it, it wasn't one of those official Nickelodeon orange VHS tapes, so maybe the joke was on me. They think I'm crazy, but the world is an insane place full of insane people. Skeletons left and right. Just ask her parents. And that's how I was fired. So what to do now? Well, the end.